Shalom. First thing and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone and rule well. Peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. Who is in this gospel of God, lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. This is another lesson through the Spirit. This is going into the Sean Ryan show. This is the horrific story of a TikTok influencer. What's her name? Valeria Marquez being executed during a live stream. If brothers remember that TikTok influencer, I guess she was like a beauty influencer that was put to death on live, and allegedly there's a lot of information coming out about it. It could have been a jealous boyfriend, a jealous friend that was jealous of her success, and she was a gold digger and this and this and that. But regardless of it, when you have this type of content and this is what you're promoting, overall, you're going to generate the unwanted attention because, let's be honest with you, a woman that looked like this, and clearly she's Israelite, she's Northern Kingdom, but she has the blonde streaks in her hair, which, a lot of these so-called Mexicans classify themselves as being Caucasian because a lot of them, they want to be so-called white. So they'll do whatever it takes in order to fit in with Edomite society just to find out that they ain't nothing but Spanish-speaking niggas, man. And this is the result of it. All you Instagram models and you TikTok influencers, man, hey, this is the lifestyle you live because you choose convenience and beauty and danger over being discreet. And the scriptures goes into that, man. And honestly speaking, she wasn't a bad looking lady. She was nice, petite, had the perfect body, but she was completely out of order. And you could just imagine what type of men that she dealt with. And that, because watching this Sean Ryan interview, from what I did learn of it, because I didn't know the ins and outs of it. I heard of it, and, things go, and then they go on the wraps. You don't hear about them after a couple of days. So it wasn't really on the top of my mind, but came back to surface that, there's a lot of stories out there generating around this. And you women, you're getting a wake-up call. And you notice the Lord is knocking off these tribes, man, because, hey, the Lord's voice isn't to you. And our women, they supposed to be married. They supposed to be, submissive, humble, following their husbands that follow Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, and not living a life of an influencer to promote whoredom, prostitution, same thing, scheming, getting money and showing their body off. That's not what you're supposed to be doing as an Israelite woman, man. But you're supposed to be submissive and serving your husband, and serving Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai through your husband. And this is why the reason why a lot of you are in these predicaments, man, because, hey, you defy the Lord. So I'm going to play a couple of minutes of this video, and we'll get a couple of precepts, and I'll play a couple of TikTok videos, and that'll be that. All right, so here we go.
Be real. She would just eat her favorite snacks on there. And actually, since she was murdered, people in her memory have been like buying her favorite snacks and posting about it and to keep her alive. Now she's on this live stream, and she's at her beauty salon that she owned. And
retire if you master these AI tools. Teenagers are building businesses with AI, while the only AI...
She tells the audience that she's been told she's receiving 3 gifts that day. And the last one is going to be an expensive gift. And so she's kind of talking through, she's excited. And a friend of hers...
And that's the thing. See, these people like taking bribes, man. These women, they want to be funded. They don't want to submit. They don't want to be in a real situation with anybody, but they want people to fund them and promote their lifestyle. Because when you mention give to a woman, that's like fucking Santa Claus. That's like the Lord coming back to him, because it's the woman themselves is just like, okay, me, what I'm going to get. When it was never about you in the first place. And that's what a lot of you are realizing, that it's not about you. And that expensive gift was her life, I speculate.
Is also at the salon with her. And first she gets a Starbucks. A delivery man comes by, drops a Starbucks, and I think at that same delivery she got a plushie of a pig. And it's so interesting because in Mexico too, like a pig or a pig's head is really significant. It's like puerco. So you get A lot of the times too, people will, in Guadalajara even, when people take out hits, they'll leave a pig's head on top of that person. Show that person was dirty or vile, whatever the message it may be.
Yeah, and the pig head represent, it could have been she was a whore, because you better believe without a doubt that women like this are jumping rod to rod. Okay, I don't give a damn what they friends or what their influencers or what their followers try to deem and paint them as. At the end of the day, this woman got a platform, and with all this attention and praise that she was getting, you better believe that she was doing a lot of things for success. Okay, because women are like dogs. They're like untrained dogs, man. You have to tame a puppy. Like when you get a newborn puppy, it has to be put on a leash. You have to train it. You have to take it out at a certain time. And, you know, that may be a offensive analogy to a lot of you women, but you are like untamed little dogs, man. Okay, and when you don't train the damn animal, and you don't train it right properly, it's just going to run up to strangers. It's going to get hit by a car, you know, because ultimately the owner didn't take rulership of the particular pet, man. And that's how these women operate. They're like loose puppy dogs, man. You know, that's without a leash. You go outside and you call him for Toto, and all of a sudden Toto is dead in the street with a tar mark on his damn head because he got ran over because he ain't had no home discipline. Okay, so that pig's head represents something vile, and that wasn't just by coincidence. She done something to offend somebody. Okay, or it could have been a jealous guy. And usually when men get jealous over their women, it's because there's a deep resentment towards them because of the shit that they do. Okay, yeah, you got some men that may be unhinged and just overly possessive like that over the smallest shit. But overall, if you got genuine love for a woman and you want her to act up, you want her to be right, and she rebels against you, then you will have a jealous spirit that come upon you. And if you don't tame it, you can very well put somebody in the spirit world. Okay, and us as men, we know how it is to go down that route of being jealous or aggravated at our women's actions to the point that, you know, you want to inflict bodily harm, but you stay spiritual because, you know, this kingdom, you're not allowed to do that. All right, so let me go back to this video, and I'll play a couple of the TikToks, because she was a nice looking woman, but it was all fake up, probably extensions, lashes, wasn't genuine, you know.
Got that plushie, and then she gets flowers, and then she's waiting for her third most expensive gift. And she starts saying in the live stream, she goes, "Ya me ondie," like I'm creeped out. Something's wrong. And you can tell she's kind of on edge. And she says, "You know what, girls, I think I'm gonna go. I'm kind of creeped out." And her friend tells her behind the camera, "No, you can't go. There's another gift coming for you." And some context to this is that Valeria had received gifts from viewers before. She really liked gifts, and she would talk about how she would date men who would give her extravagant gifts, and a lot of viewers would send her things.
You see, and that's the point. She will date men, okay? Men, plural, men, okay? Not a man, but men. When you say men, that's talking about the ginsens of the male species, man. If they say all men or men are this way, they're not just specifically talking about one man. They're talking about a variety of men. So the thing is, she dated multiple men. And that lifestyle will end you in the spirit world, man. Because ultimately, how shy. Hey, he told us, man. He said, hey, the daughters of Zion are haughty and walk with stretched forth necks and one-tined eyes. They're very undisciplined. You can't tell the black woman, Hispanic woman, or Native American woman a damn thing about their attitude, because they ain't trying to hear what you got to say. All right, so let's get this a preset real quick. This is 1 Timothy 5, and I'm going to start at verses 6. Matter of fact, let's start at verses. The elder women as mothers, the younger as sisters, purity. Let's just start as... Yeah, this goes into widows, but let's start it here. 1 Timothy 5 and 6, it says that, but she that liveth in pleasure is dead while she liveth. Okay, this woman lived in pleasure. Okay, I mean, look at her. Shit, she had the look. Shit, she had the body. I mean, the body was spot on point. She had just enough hips, the perfect chest, got the B cups and shit. You know what I mean? She was a nice looking woman. But at the same time, she wanted to look like a fucking Edomite. You know, and I speculate she was Issachar. You know, but you couldn't tell the difference because our women, they have a self-hatred with themselves to the point that they have this undying love for the so-called white man. They think that's the optimum standard of beauty when it comes to a life in America, man. Oh, I gotta look like the so-called white man to make it in America, man. This is why a lot of these Marblehead Negroes, when they go to the corporate world, they shave their beard off, they cut their heads bald. All right, nigga got the goatee with the receding hairline, looking like a nigga named Racky. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, he goes in corporate world and realizes he's nothing more but a nigga. And this is for the women too. All right? Go here. Envy not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. Proverbs 3:31. It says, envy not thou the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. This is total envying of the oppressor, man. And she was proud because when you look at the comments on all these videos, you have nothing but a bunch of beta male simps and, of course, feminists out there. Oh, my God, rest in peace, Angel. Rest in peace. They shouldn't have done that. This woman wasn't no damn saint. I mean, look at her. I mean, yeah, she may have look like she's promoting innocent content, but the fact that you have a presence and you're nude, your titties are out, and you're looking like a prostitute, like a $5 harlot, I mean, what the hell you expect to happen, man? Teach younger women. Oops. The fuck, really? Teach. Titus 2. And I'm gonna start at 3. It says, the aged woman, likewise, that they be in behavior as becoming holiness, not false accusers, not giving much wine, but teachers of good things. Yeah, the older women don't teach the young women nothing, okay? Instead, they teach them to go out and ruin their lives. Go and find you a rich man, a rich white man, or an Edomite man, and disregard your own people. Make sure he got money, have kids, and then, you know, make sure he don't do a prenuptial agreement and then divorce him 10 years later and take everything he got. That's the survival technique of the black woman, man, and just the Israelite woman. Mostly all these women in the West. Hell, the Edomite woman, she's on that type of time too. But you'll more than likely run into that behavior with the so-called black woman because, I mean, she's inherently evil. And it says here that they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands and their children. And clearly she didn't have a husband. It says men bought her extravagant gifts, meaning that they spent money on her, all right, in exchange for sex. Even the beta male simps, they would just buy her shit just for her to respond to the DM or give you a heart emoji. Okay, it's getting ridiculous. The world of social media today has gotten people to the mindset that they can be something they're not, and we're gonna get that. It says that they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children, to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of Yahweh be not blasphemy. So if you disobedient to your husband, that's equivalent to blasphemy, man. And this is what a lot of you don't understand. But it says to be discreet, chaste, and keepers at home. Okay, she was not discreet, she was not chaste, and she damn sure was not a keeper at home. All right, and this is why the social media era will be the end of a lot of you women out there, because this is how you get your shit off. Because you got these weak men that sit back behind a computer and they'll salivate over you and give you empty compliments, and it goes to your head to the point a 3 is walking around like she's a 15 on a scale of 1 to 10. Because you men out there, you elevate these women, you put them on a high horse, man. You see? Let's go here. High-minded. Because you could tell she was very high-minded. She's not the only one. All right, there's several of them in that spirit. Not high-minded, high-minded. Second Timothy 3, and I'm going to start at verses 1. It says, this know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. Perilous goes into evil time. Hey, motherfuckers are running pickup trucks through brick buildings in Chicago. Tire pop off, engine on the other side of the street. People are shooting people in broad daylight. You got YNs going on hits, showing the extendos on live, man. Here it's 90 degrees outside, 2 o'clock p.m. in the afternoon. 3 niggas with hoodies on with extendo clips go and shoot somebody up. And the crazy part about it is that they will live stream the shit. And then they get mad when they get caught. Like, bro, you just live stream a whole crash out, bro. And then when the authorities pop up at your crib 15, 20 minutes later, because the first thing a nigga do, he run home. He go do a hit on a nigga, and then he run home and get high, and then the nigga turn on 2K. Like he's getting ready to finish the fourth quarter. And then all of a sudden you get the bam at the door, it's the police. And then you go to jail for life because you just being stupid, crashing out, man. You know? And it says, for men should be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection. Yeah, because these people, they don't have affection towards one another. You know, social media has totally dead that dynamic. I was speaking to somebody earlier this week about how in the 90s, man, we didn't have cell phones. I mean, you had cell phones, but we was, you know, in the 90s, I was pretty much a kid, so I didn't have access to no cell phone. Okay, I didn't get my first cell phone until 2003. I didn't have no cell phone in the 90s. And we had a landline phone, and we got our first computer probably like in 1998, maybe. We got a computer. I used to get screamed at all the time because we was on the internet, and you had that dial-up modem, and then they charge your ass about $2 a minute, and I get yelled at because of a $30 fucking internet bill that was technically free minutes, you know. But you know, we had to knock on the doors. We had to make actually human contact. Wasn't no uploading selfie. I couldn't text my homeboy, "Hey, bro, we finna run a 5-man at the court." You know what I'm saying? Meet me on the basketball court. Let's go play ball with something. It wasn't none of that. That was actually human interaction. We had to interact with one another. You know, you had to actually go up to a chick and talk to her. Unlike today, you can send a virtual message or a virtual hug, and before you know it, she's over at your house the same night. You know, so yeah, this is a total world that's just no affection. Truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasure more than lovers of the Most High. And that's the majority of this society. Okay, that's why I say when they put the plug on social media, that's when a lot of suicides is gonna happen, man. All right, this is what you do. You take away all the depression pills, all the medication, and take away the internet. Hey, I guarantee you, this place will crash overnight. You're going to have a bunch of crash outs, man. Going batshit crazy because they can't get those likes and heart emojis anymore. Or ain't nobody commenting on them pics no more, man. And you women, you getting ready to learn the hard way. You getting ready to be totally stripped bare. Everything that you've labored for in vain, the Lord is getting ready to take all that shit from all you women, man. It says, having a form of godliness but denying the power thereof, from such turn away. So yeah, avoid these people. You know? So let's look at this.
What is also interesting is a series of text messages appearing to come from a friend of hers named Vivian, which mentions a gift was coming. This is a clue that we will leave alone for now as we continue to look at this. What followed as Valeria lays slumped in her chair, however, is a detail that many believe holds a key to the investigation. As the phone appears to have been picked up after the shooting, the livestream briefly captured the face of a woman before the video feed terminated. This individual, clearly present at the scene immediately following the crime, has been largely ignored in initial mainstream media narratives. It's an outrage, states independent digital forensics analyst, Isabella Rojas, who has been examining the widely circulated footage. The mainstream media is caught up in sensationalizing potential cartel links, yet they're overlooking a person who was undeniably at the crime scene in the immediate aftermath. This woman's identity could be critical. The lack of emphasis on this potential eyewitness, or even suspect, is deeply concerning to many who see it as a continuation of the systemic failures in investigating violence against women in Mexico. Instead of prioritizing this crucial visual evidence, the narrative has quickly shifted towards victim blaming and speculation about Marquez's personal life, echoing a disheartening trend observed in countless previous femicide cases. As reported previously, sociologist Gemma Klopp Santamaria noted a level of societal acceptance and re-victimization that allows for a swift dismissal of such cases. The apparent downplaying of a potential suspect seen on video further fuels this perception of negligence and a lack of genuine commitment to bringing perpetrators to justice. The Jalisco state prosecutor has stated that Marquez's murder is being investigated as a possible femicide and that anyone associated with this girl is being interviewed. However, the conspicuous silence from official channels and mainstream media regarding the woman seen at the end of the livestream raises serious questions about the direction and thoroughness of the investigation. Valeria Marquez's murder, tragically broadcast to her followers, now presents a stark challenge to investigators and the media alike. Will the focus remain on sensationalized, albeit unverified, connections, or will the glaringly obvious presence of a woman at the crime scene in the video's final moments finally receive the scrutiny it demands? For those seeking justice for Valeria and the countless other victims of femicide in Mexico, the answer to this question will be a telling indicator of whether this time, things will be different. Let us know your thoughts by commenting.
And all this shit she's being communicated because of her alleged beauty.
Mexican beauty influencer has been shot dead during a TikTok live stream. 23-year-old Valeria Marquez
And you could tell she's one of the tribes, man, just off the features. But at the same time, she wants to look like an Edomite woman.
was at the beauty salon where she worked in the central city of Zapopan when a man entered and shot her. Earlier in the live stream, Ms. Marquez seemed concerned when she told her 200,000 followers that someone had come to the salon to deliver her an expensive gift while she wasn't there. Moments before her death, she is heard saying, "They're coming," before muting the video. The state prosecutor says the incident is being investigated as femicide, which is the killing of women and girls based on their gender. Femicide is on the rise in Mexico. Around 10 women and girls are killed every day by partners or family members. Mexican beauty influencer.
Yeah, because I mean, you know, shit, they don't play that, man. And that's the Babylon. That's the wine of Babylon. This tribe was even in Mexico. She could probably barely speak English, and yet, you know, she's an influencer, man.
Online communities and independent investigators like 5x5 News investigative journalist Mike Turber, who is looking at the case. Marquez, a vibrant online personality with a significant following, was engaged in a seemingly routine live stream from her workplace in Jalisco when a male voice interrupted.
And of course, you got all the TikTok lawyers and everybody trying to decipher what the hell happened. Look, it don't matter. At the end of the day, none of you gonna know the full truth of what happened, man. All right. Proverbs 6, and this could have been a jealous boyfriend. We don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, she was in something that you people are not knowing. But at the end of the day, you people are known to pervert judgment. So it don't really matter what she did. It's the fact that they took her life is what you're offended about. Hypocrites. This is the book of Proverbs 6, and I'm going to start at verses 3:34. It says, "For jealousy is the rage of a man. Therefore, he will not spare in the day of vengeance." It says, "He will not regard any ransom, neither will he rest content, though he giveth." It says, "Neither will he rest content, though thou givest many gifts." So, end of the day, man, if this is due to jealousy or passionate crime, well, nothing gonna stop that man from getting to this woman, because, like I said, women like that are known for using men and kicking them to the curb, and the man could have really been into her. Because she's not a bad-looking woman, outside of all the makeup, the fake up, and all that other stuff, but you know, this is what happens, man. Because Esau allowed these women to guide abroad, and he gives them liberty to do what the hell they want to do. You know, and she's got all this praise because of her fake beauty. Commend man not for his beauty. Matter of fact, this is Sirach 11, and I'm going to start at verses 2. And it says here, "Commend not a man for his beauty, neither abhor a man for his outward appearance." Okay, you know, and this goes into women too, because the scriptures do go into the account of a man loving a beautiful woman, of course. And there's nothing wrong with giving women compliments, but shit can go, shit can go to their head, man. And it becomes a poison. It becomes a cancer to these women, man. Okay, like the scriptures say, beauty is vain, but she that praises the Lord should be praised. Okay, Proverbs 31 and 30, it says, "Favor is deceitful and beauty is vain, but a woman that feared the Lord, she should be praised." Okay, she didn't fear the Lord. Clearly, she looks like the Edomite woman. It says, "Give her the fruit of her hands and let her own work praise her in her gates." And this ain't talking about social media and jumping and twerking your ass online, man, showing your toes and all that other shit. Okay, you save that stuff for the man you dealing with within your domains of your house. Okay, if your man wanna, and you and your man wanna make a sex tape of you and him and only you and him, that's y'all business, man. You know, but you ain't supposed to be leaking that shit online or whatever, or, you know, putting it up there for money. But unfortunately, that's what happens. One more precept and I end it. Jeremiah, the 4th chapter, and I'll start at verses 30. It says, and when thou art spoiled, what wilt thou do? It says, though thou closest thyself with crimson, though thou deckest thee with ornaments of gold, though thou writtest thy face with paintings, in vain shalt thou make thyself fair. Yeah, in vain, because it's vanity. Right? It says, thy lovers will despise thee and they will seek thy life. And like I said, there's many different stories coming out, but this clearly had to be an act of jealousy or a hit or something like that, because, you know, all the men that probably DM'd her, she probably got thousands and thousands of DMs a day, and probably only to responding only to the men that she perceived to be high value based on status and so forth. Okay, don't get it twisted, brothers. These women, they size you up. Okay, I guarantee you, if you DM a woman on Instagram, she may not even leave. She may leave you on red, or she may not even respond to your message. But let Steph Curry or LeBron or one of these so-called high value ball players email her or send her a message, I guarantee you she's going to respond within minutes, if not seconds, to show you that they see the message. They just choose who to respond to. So if you don't look like you live that lifestyle, or you're not a popular rapper or entertainer, then don't bank on her ever hitting you up, man. Okay, women got a filter for that shit. They know what's up. They can smell it. It says, for I've heard the voice as of a woman in travail, and the anguish as of her that bringeth forth our first child. It says, the voice of the daughter of Zion that bewildered herself, that spreaded her hands, saying, woe is me now, for my soul is weary because of murderers, man. All right. So anyway, man, wasn't meant to be this long. Giving all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai, Bashem Rakakadash. Lord's will you edify. To the next lesson. Shalom.